Hello, this is Mr. Yoon, and today's lesson is going to be about solving linear equations. And solving linear equations is what we usually call algebra. And today's key phrase is that algebra is doing the opposite of bad math, the order of operation, in opposite order. So before we get into more details about how to do algebra, let's learn what algebra is by looking at the origin of the word. So the word algebra comes from the Arabic word jabara, which meant to reunite or to restore. And it became the word algebra, which became the reunion of broken parts. So I like to think about algebra, and then it became, and over here we can see that it became this word over here, which meant the science of restoring what is missing and equating like with like. So to put it simply, algebra is, in math, in current day math, algebra is restoring or figuring out the original value. So let's try to take a look at this map over here, and let's see how and one way that I like to think about algebra is an adventure of X. So let's say, for example, you live in a little house here, and your school is all the way over here. Here is school. And let's say every morning that you take, there's many different ways that you can go to school, but let's say one morning you decide to go 2 blocks down this way to the right, and then 2 blocks up to the school. Then your directions from school to, direction from home to school is 2 blocks right, then 2 blocks down, up. Then if I were to come back home from school, what would the directions be? So let's take a look. Then to come back, we start at school and we're trying to come back to school. Then we would walk down 2 blocks. Then we would go back to turn left and then walk 2 blocks to the left. So then from school to home is going to be 2 blocks down and 2 blocks left. And from here we can see when we're returning to the original spot, we have to do opposite things in opposite order. So from home to school, we took 2 blocks to the right and then 2 blocks to the up. Then when we're coming back, we gotta follow the same route and come back 2 blocks down first, then 2 blocks left, because opposite of up is down and opposite of right is left. So how does this relate to algebra? As I said, I like to think of algebra as adventure of X. So let's try to solve an equation that says 3x is equal to 9. And let's try to figure out what our x is. So then let's say we start from this location over here that has x. and then our destination is 9. Then let's figure out what happened to x so that it arrived at 9. So 3x simply means 3 times x. So then if I draw it on the map, then whatever happened to 3, whatever x was multiplied by 3, and it became 3x, and then it was equal to 9. So then how do I return? What do I gotta do to come back? We have to do opposite of what happened to x, which means we have to do divide by 3. Then we are going to divide both sides by 3. Then, so we would divide 3x by 3 and 9 by 3. Then on the left side, we will be left with x. And on the right side, I will have 3. And then I know that my x is equal to 3. Let's try to do one more example. Let's try to do minus 2 plus 5x is equal to 103. Then, and we're going to analyze what happened to x and where our destination was. So we start with an x, and according to BEDMAS, we have first we got to do 5 times x first, and then we got to add minus 2. Then let's try to draw that. So there is x, and then we multiply that by times 5, and then it becomes a 5x. We multiply when we add a minus 2, and then it became 103. So now we have to do opposite things in opposite order to return to x. So then the last thing that we did, as you can see, is that we added negative 2. So what do we have to do to return to figure out 5x? We have to subtract minus 2. So then we are going to simply subtract minus 2. So take away minus 2 from both sides, and minus 2 is the same as plus 2. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. Then I arrive at 5x and find out that 5x is equal to 105. Then I know that x became 5x by times 5. So if you want to return to x, we have to divide by 5. So then I divide both sides by 5. Then 5x becomes x. And then 105 divided by 5 is 21. And a very good thing about algebra is that you can always check the answer yourself. So let's say you arrived at x is equal to 21 by yourself, and you want to make sure that you have the right answer. Then you can simply check by replacing x equals 21 back into the original equation. So let's try. I have minus 2 plus 5x is equal to 103, and x is 21. So then I write the same thing with 21 instead of x. So then I do minus 2 plus 5, and then instead of x I use 21. So it's 21 is equal to 103. Then minus 2 stays as minus 2, and 5 times 21 is 105. And minus 2 plus 105 is 103. And 103 is indeed 103. So then I know that my answer of x equals to 21 was correct. Now let's try to do one last example. Let's try to do x over 4 minus 3 is equal to negative 4. So we have to do opposite of BEDMAS in opposite order. So over here, first thing that happened to x was divide by 4, and second thing was minus 3. Then we got to do opposite of it in opposite order. So when we go back, we have to first add 3 because the minus 3 was the last thing that we did. And then the next thing we have to do is opposite of divide by 4, which is times 4. Then let's just do this to both of the sides. Then I have x over 4 minus 3, and we just have to do plus 3 plus 3. Then I am left with x over 4 is equal to minus 4 plus 3, which is minus 1. Then I have to multiply both sides by 4. So I do times 4 and times 4. Then I am left with x is equal to negative 4. And that is my final answer. And if you want to make sure that if you have the right answer, then you can simply put this back into the original equation. And if it is true, it's true. So let's see. I have x over 4 minus 3 is equal to negative 4. Then I just simply have to replace x with the new answer that I found, which was negative 4, and write it down again. And negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1, and minus 3 is negative 4. And minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4, and minus 4 is minus 4. Then I know my answer is correct.